Mini, initially a single-car brand, has sprawled out in every direction, quite literally, in the case of the Clubman tested here. It is both longer and wider than the earlier Countryman crossover and only slightly smaller than the just-launched second-generation model. But unlike that make-believe SUV, the Clubman presents itself as a more car-like wagon that rides low. Rather sleek-looking, it's graced with split rear barn doors and teardrop-shaped taillights to set it apart. Its dual-side hinged doors provide good access to the cargo hold, but they also obscure rear vision where they meet in the center. You win some, you lose some. In early 2016, Mini launched a version of the Clubman that is designed to do everything, the Cooper S Clubman All-4, powered by the BMW's 2.0-litre turbocharged four-cylinder engine and fitted with all-wheel drive. It's available with a 6-speed manual or 8-speed automatic transmission. Our test car had the rear own shifter, raising our expectations that it'd be more interesting on the road. Surely Mini would try to preserve the cliched go-kart-like feeling of its tinier models, right? To some extent, but that depends on the driving mode. Switching among three modes, green, mid, and sport, is accomplished by moving a ring surrounding the gear shifter. That selector doesn't exactly glide into position, pushing it feels like scraping plastic on plastic, not exactly giving a sensation of quality. Visual confirmation of your selection comes with chirpy on-screen messages such as "Let's Motor" for sport and an illuminated strip that changes colors surrounding the pizza-sized central display. These colorized reflections of the car's mood can be turned off or altered to different hues via the personalization menus. We usually find this kind of gimmickry annoying, but it's part of Mini's appeal. There are other ways to have fun in a car, and Mini thankfully trades on those aspects, too. The drive mode selector is somewhat indicative of the general material quality in this premium price station wagon, which falls short of our expectations. The Clubman's interior is not up to the level found in the Volkswagen Golf Sportwagen 4Motion, a competitor with a base price thousands of dollars lower. Toggle switches protected by HNC hooks are spattered across the lower dashboard, and the central display, like the instruments in front of the driver, presents a sea of happy, bubbly shapes. For mysterious reasons, the indicator that the heated seats are on has green lights rather than the usual red. At least the low-mileage example we drove seemed to have been assembled well, with none of the rattles and squeaks we've found in other recent Minis. Not so quick on its feet, you pilot the Clubman from a deep, firm, and comfortable bucket seat. We expected to have a lot of fun with this 2.0-litre turbo edition, which serves up 189 horsepower at 5,000 revolutions per minute and 207 lb-ft of torque at just 1,250 revolutions per minute. But the engine didn't move the car with the degree of authority we anticipated. At 7.3 seconds, it misses Mini's claimed 0 to 60 mph acceleration figure by 0.6 seconds and proved 0.3 seconds slower than the 170 horsepower 2017 VW Golf Sportwagen 4Motion we tested recently. Perhaps it would fare better with more brake-in than the 1,030 miles showing on the odometer. The Mini did get to 100 miles per hour quicker than the VW and passed through the quarter-mile run 0.1 seconds ahead at an identical 90 miles per hour trap speed. Rowing through the gears to squeeze the performance out of this Clubman proved to be more chore than joy. This transmission is not Getrag's finest. When you need it to act quickly, it gets notchy and reluctant to follow your wishes. It's a decidedly average effort in a car that trades on sporting pretensions. Those who can manage their own heel and toe downshifts may find the standard of matching function patronizing. Switching among driving modes makes a slight difference. In green mode, acoustic feedback is almost entirely filtered out, while the powertrain sounds pleasantly guttural in mid mode. Switch to sport mode, and the Clubman's four-banger sounds coarse. We preferred the mid setting most of the time, finding sport worth the penalties of intrusive noise and heavier steering only when we were challenging toll-land roads. Sport mode also alters the shift programming in cars with the automatic transmission option. Even though this Clubman was a Cooper S with the bigger engine, there is not nearly enough power to swing the Mini's tail. The all-wheel drive system, which distributes torque between the axles via a central clutch mechanism, doesn't really come into play unless you're driving on a slippery surface. Most of the time, it's just a front-drive car dragging around the weight penalty of all-wheel drive hardware. And then there were the Biley Cincinnati P7 all-season tires, which squeal when approaching their threshold of adhesion, but do cling to the pavement. We measured 0.87 grams of grip on the skid pad, which was 0.2 grams better than the aforementioned Golf Sportwagen managed in the same test. Braking tilts the other way, with the Golf taking 171 feet to stop from 70 miles per hour, while the Mini needed 184. Steering is sufficiently precise but lacking in feel, yet needlessly heavy. It's trying a bit too hard to play at being sporty without delivering the promised goods. Tipping the scales at a portly 3,421 pounds, this Clubman felt solid and well composed. If it falls short as a back-road dancer, it is a decent long-distance cruiser. While the Cooper S Clubman's ride is not exactly cushy, it will keep its passengers content for hours on a long journey. The Clubman comfortably seats for the fifth seatbelt is more decorative than useful with an unmini-like cargo hold capable of swallowing 18 cubic feet of stuff. That said, the equivalent VW Sportwagen has more passenger space and significantly more cargo room behind the rear seat, 30 cubic feet. Mini asks a lot of money for this Cooper S version of the Clubman. Ours had a base price of $30,300. And optional heated seats $500, metallic paint $500, and a panoramic sunroof $1,000 bumped up the total to $32,300. An options list only $2,000 deep is actually quite reasonable by Mini standards, but the bottom line was still $6,550 pricier than that Sportwagen 4Motion. Consider Mini's own Clubman in non-trim. With the 134 horsepower 1.5-litre turbocharged 3-cylinder and front-wheel drive, it's a better price match against the VW offerings. In our test of a 2016 Cooper Clubman, which had a $26,500 as-tested price, it was only 0.7 seconds slower to 60 miles per hour than this Cooper S with all four, but it felt lighter and altogether more entertaining to drive. While the Clubman Cooper S all four does everything well enough, it doesn't excel at anything by enough margin over the alternatives to make a compelling case for its premium price. We didn't feel it gave us an improved driving experience compared with the cheaper and lighter front-wheel drive Cooper.